Right, hello, Sega fan here again. It was my birthday yesterday, so I'm going to do another recent pickups video. Basically, nothing retro here at all today. Basically, it was my birthday yesterday, and it was kind of a little present, or part of my present that my missus brought me. Was, by no means retro, but a very special console to me. An original Xbox. Now, I had one of these back in the day, and I fucking loved it, but mine died. So, we was going through a pawn shop yesterday, and we saw this. And she said to me, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "There's a Pope shit in the woods." And I was expecting it to be about 20 quid, 25 quid. And no, it was £9.99. So, we picked that up. It didn't come with a SCART lead, it came with a crappy 3-pin shit. So I have ordered a nice chunky brand new SCART lead for this. I've also the controller isn't official, it's a Mad Catz one. And there's a bit of an annoyance behind this, which I'll get into in a minute. Now, outside of Sega, there are only two consoles that I really care about. The Xbox and the PlayStation 1. Never liked the PlayStation 2. I did quite like the GameCube. I was quite into that, but not really heavily. But the thing with this one, basically, I remember when it came out, loads of people were bashing it like fuck, because I think I was in my last year of school when this came out, and there were so many people talking about, "Oh, get a PlayStation 2, get a PlayStation 2, it's much better." And I used to go home to this, and I had friends at the time, and we'd go over, we'd play PlayStation 2 games, and I remember what's one that we used to play all the time? Smuggler's Run, I think. And yeah, it was a bit of fun, but I don't know if anyone's familiar with Smuggler's Run, but it was this big open game. And you had to pick up packages, and you drive around these massive open fields and dune buggies and things, and you had to get from point to point as quick as possible. And yeah, it was quite fun, but it was so graphically, even for the time, it was. Now, before anyone moans at me, graphics do not make a game. I'm well aware of that. But for the time, it was just big open, empty and boring, and we. Forgotten another one he had. I think it was like a Micro Machines thing, and they just looked like Dreamcast games, and I could not believe that this PlayStation 2, this piece of shit, basically this boring thing, had defeated the Dreamcast. And I used to show people this, and people were like, the graphics just blew people away. I mean, when Halo came out, well, there was nothing like that on the market. It was just great. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Halo now, but when it first came out, it just owned. I just loved it. So yeah, for me, this is a really important console, and not many people had one that I knew of either. I mean, there wasn't a shit ton of games that came out for it. Things that I can think of now: Fable, Lost Chapters, amazing game. Fable 2 and 3, a complete dog shit. Absolutely, yeah. Basically, if you want a game where you just sit on your ass and the game plays itself, no difficulty, no real content, then Fable 1 and 2 is for you. It's probably the worst RPG that I can think of. Well, I wouldn't even call it an RPG, really. I don't know what you call it. A fucking mess. But the most disappointing game that I can think of right now in the last few years was Fable 3. I remember being so excited for it, and it really built up at the beginning, and it was great. And as the game went on, it was just, now this is just Fable 2, but been made really easy. You had this thing where your weapons evolved, so you didn't actually need to buy any weapons. You can't buy armor. There's like these hidden dungeons and shit like that, like cool little puzzles, and you get to the end and there's treasure, kind of like Zelda. I mean, I'm sure most people know what Fable was. And you'd get to the end of it, and it'd be like, you've got a bandit's outfit. And I remember sitting there playing it, and I thought, are you shitting me? I've done all that for a fucking bandit set, and there was just no reward in it. It was just crap. Anyway, moving on. Some great games that I brought yesterday for it. Freedom Fighters. Now this is I think this is on everything, PlayStation 2, Cube, and this. But this is a fantastic game. It's so addictive. There's a real good sense of the shit's hit the fan. Basically, America's been taken over, yada yada yada, same old shit. And you've got to solely win it back, but you have to build a team, you have to put loads of shit together, you have to be quite strategic. It is really, really good, and for £3, excellent game. Another masterpiece, Toejam and Earl. Now, me and the missus, we sat down and I think we played this for about a week straight, and this is a fantastic game, basically. Sega, yeah, of course. Great game for me. Dr. Muto. This probably isn't nothing really that special, but it's always one for me that I remember me and Nikki, we played it and played it and played it. So that's recommended if you like, kind of like adventure-y, not really platformers from what I can remember, but like adventure games where you just collect things. It's got a stupid sense of humour, and it's actually not that bad. Brute Force. This is kind of, it's like a 4-player shoot 'em up, and I remember I had this on a demo disc when the Xbox first came out, and I remember showing it to people that have a PlayStation 2, and they were so jealous that this just literally made their PlayStation 2 graphically, and just look stupid. It was just crazy that this. Even now, I think that the fact that this and the PlayStation 2 were in the same generation is just ridiculous. This is easily a generation ahead of the PS2. GameCube wasn't that far behind, and in some respects, they were actually quite similar. Sometimes the GameCube did things better, sometimes this did. But the PlayStation 2 was just... it was just like a basic machine, in my opinion. But yeah, squad-based, 4 players... Great, and that's the other thing the Cube had and this had. 4 controller ports. Is that so hard? And these were used proper when Halo came out and things like that. Time splitters too. Don't need any introduction to that. Right, Ninja Gaiden. Great game. Out on the PlayStation 3, and yes, the PlayStation 3 version is better, but this was first, and again, another game that just blew the other consoles away. Desert Storm, meh, alright, one for the collection. Third person shooter, pretty generic. And I picked this up the other day, well yesterday, for £3.50, only because I've never played it. Some people love it, some people hate it. Apparently the second one's a lot better, but yeah, no manual in there, which I didn't actually know, but I don't really care. So yeah, I'll give that one a go later. Now when I got this, the control pad, it didn't work. That trigger did not work. And I was playing Time Splitters 2, and I was thinking, that's weird that the other trigger is the fire button, the left trigger is being the fire button. I could have sworn it was the right trigger. So anyway, I played that for ages, and I was just whatever. And I threw in Turok Evolution, which I'm a massive fan of Turok. And Evolution was pretty dire, but never mind. But yeah, but after stripping it down and cleaning it out, it works fine now. Result. Okay, thanks for watching, and more of the stuff to come.